Hey everybody, good afternoon. I hope you are having a great weekend so far. This is Sami Abusaad with the Strategic Swing Trader coming at you with another weekly video to talk about the market, and we'll go over some swing ideas, some nice swing ideas for Monday. First, the market. I said last week in last weekend's video that I felt pretty sure that we were going to make a new high and that this trend will not break. And so far, we did not break, and we actually made a new all-time high on Friday, or I'm sorry, on Wednesday by like a few pennies, by 6 cents. And then we're still right there at the all-time high. As I said, this trend rarely breaks when you have a strong uptrend like this. Even if we pull back, we don't usually just collapse. Even if we pull back, we go right back up usually. So the bias remains the same. I have to say that when you get also a little bit of an attempt to make a new high and then you get an inside bar like so, it's a little bit bearish. It's a little bit bearish, but let me just look at the hourly chart on my other platform. Yeah, but the hourly chart, look at the hourly chart, is in an all-out uptrend. The hourly chart of the Qs, which is the same as the SPY. So bias is going to remain bullish for sure until we get some acceleration. Acceleration means, you get multiple, at least one, but usually two or three wide range green bars that cause the trend to accelerate, and that would signal a short-term top because it would only mean that the last batch of buyers is finally stepping in and buying the market. When the last batch of buyers finally commit, then there's no more buying. There's nobody left to buy. And that's when you get at least a temporary top, just like what we saw here, right? We got the run up and then the wide range bar. It was only one wide range bar, but that caused a temporary bottom, a temporary top. I honestly thought it would result in a more severe pullback. I thought we would get down to 170 or so, but we didn't. So this was smaller than I expected. So that's what I would be looking for, is some kind of acceleration, and before I would get bearish on the market. Okay, but we are at the all-time high. This is significant, not because we're at the double top, but because it means to me, we talked about this in last week's session. What it means is we're not going to be crashing or experiencing a recession or anything like that in the upcoming months. Okay, after this sell-off, a lot of people, myself included, thought that the market might have really topped out, because this was the first major sell-off we got. Well, we did get a couple other sell-offs. In 2015, we had a flash crash, and in 2011, we got some kind of a sell-off. But this was kind of the most significant for sure since the bottom in 2009. So I thought, okay, 10-year rally, that was probably the end, but it wasn't. We had a strong bounce, and that's why I think we actually continue to go up for the next maybe year or two. All right, so we'll see. We take it one day, 1 week, 1 month at a time, and in the meantime, try to capitalize on the opportunities that we can come across. I have some nice ideas for you for next week. Don't forget this. Whatever I say is for educational purposes only. It's not a recommendation to buy or sell anything, but I just want to show you what I found scanning this weekend. AOBC. This used to be called Smith & Wesson, right? The gun manufacturer, has a nice transition A setting up on the daily chart. And if you look at the weekly time frame, so if we go look at the weekly time frame, you will see that we have a double bottom. That's a double bottom on the weekly chart. So not bad, to about maybe 12 bucks, slightly less. AOBC as a transition A breakout on the daily chart. CHMI, admittedly not the best daily setup. It's like a 1, 2, 3 / breakout, but I like the monthly a lot. The monthly time frame to me looks higher still. Transition A happened last year, but to me it looks still higher, to at least 10 bucks on the CHMI. So I like it higher over this candle's high, stop under the big green candle's low. CVIA is a weekly transition A. Okay, weekly transition A breakout. There it is. Moving average is starting to curl. It's still a little flat, but went under price, held price. I call this the halt, H-A-L-T, the halted price from continuing lower. And so we're going to have a transition A, it looks like. So it needs to trigger first, but this is a very, very nice weekly chart. Okay, where's the trigger? Here's the trigger. Where's the stop? There are two places to put the stop. If you're aggressive, you can put it here. If you want to give it more room, you could put it right here. Okay? And this would be not a swing trade, but more of a long-term trade. A long-term trade. On the CVIA, Hudson is a retest of support, minor support, and it's a transition A on the weekly chart. You might be thinking by now, what's a transition A setup? Well, it is all based on the what I call the atomic unit, the four stages in that all stocks experience. You get stage one, the base, and then the transition higher into stage two, the uptrend. Stage two ends often through another base, and you get the transition. So this is C, so A, transition A, B, C, and then D at the bottom. So those are the transitions that connect the phases. A is a sideways base that connects it or that breaks out into into an uptrend, transitions into a stage 2 uptrend. B signals the end of the stage 2 uptrend. C signals the end of stage 3 and the beginning of stage 4. And then D is the end of stage 4, the beginning of stage 1. And the cycle repeats. So we have this cycle on every single stock. Now, uptrending stocks, they don't come all the way back down. You know, Apple and whatnot over the years, they form higher lows. So if we were to look at the monthly chart of Apple, you still get the same cycle. You can see it here, right? Up, down, right? Up, down, up. So that's the same cycle, but in an uptrend with higher lows, higher highs. So those are the stocks that I call that escape gravity, basically. The vast majority honestly come all the way back down to where they came from. But the ones that do well over time have higher highs and higher lows. All right? So this is just kind of a brief overview of that unit, that basic unit in which all stocks operate. So Hudson is a retest of a transition A breakout. HSGC is a transition A setting up on the daily chart. This is a penny stock, penny stock, but it could, who knows, could go to 50 cents. That would be about a 250% move. It'd be exactly 250. I'm sorry, 150. MAXR, another transition A, very tight base, pretty nice. MAXR as a base, breakout, okay? MGI is a weekly transition A. Kind of like it. Really nice. MGI on the weekly chart. Okay. Next one on the list is Mohawk, which is a weekly transition A also. Most of my plays come set up on the daily chart. Most of my plays are setups on the daily chart, but sometimes, as you can see, they are also off the weekly. The weekly is even a better time frame because it's a longer time frame. So if you catch it and it works, you can actually you can be in it for quite some time. Okay. OTLK is let's take a look on the daily chart. Okay, this is a gap fade. This was a secondary offering after 3 big red bars. And then it's a transition A on the hourly chart. So it's a breakout on the hourly and a gap fade on the daily. It's a unique play. It's not the typical play that I do. PBI is a transition A on the daily chart or a base breakout on the daily. I don't mean to be picking like 5 or 6 or 7 maybe transition A breakouts, but that's what I found this weekend. Whatever I find is what I share with you. I have more, obviously I have a lot more, but I share with you the ones that I think are most ready. XOG is another transition A on the daily and the weekly. See it on the weekly as well. So if we go back to the daily real quick, you would see that we had a stage 4 downtrend, stage 1 the base, and now the breakout into stage 2. So that's the breakout. Does that make sense? So again, stage 4, the downtrend, stage 1, the sideways base, and then we got the breakout, and this would be a secondary breakout. Now, XOG is set up on the daily time frame and the weekly time frame, so it's pretty good. Those are some swing long ideas. Here's some short ideas for you. ADS had a tier 1 gap down. Tier 1 means A rated, was a perfect gap down, professional gap down, and now has another base breakdown. Under the base, stop above it. Target 150 or so. Okay, just above 150. Livin, LIVN, broke down on Wednesday. Thursday we had the narrow range bar, and if we break under it, it will be a 1, 2, 3 continuation lower. So this was also coming after a professional tier 1 gap. MIC is kind of a 1, 2, 3, 4 play. So 1, the igniting bar, and then inside bars, narrow range bars, and then if we can get another bar like so, that would be the trigger. Stop right here, okay, on the MIC. And NLY is a breakdown lower to about here and 950. So it's a small stop. NYCB is a 1, 2, 3. Like it a lot. Nice igniting bar and a nice narrow range bar. I like it lower to the 200 MA, which is about 1080 or so. PPC is going climactic, doesn't quite have an entry. You could do it just under the doji bar's low, stop above it, 2550 by 2611, but I like to get an entry off the hourly chart. So this is just to watch. PPC, climactic run up. UGI, sell setup. This is a sell setup right here, triggered already, but now also has a 1, 2, 3. So this is a play on a play, or a pattern inside of a pattern. A 1, 2, 3 inside of a sell setup. And then last but not least, WRK is a 1, 2, 3 short, under a base, a long base on the data chart. Those are some stock ideas. Here's some Bitcoin ideas. Ether remains my favorite, even though it really hasn't been necessarily the strongest or hasn't made the biggest move, but it remains my favorite out of the big names, out of the big cryptocurrency names, because of the larger time frame. I mean, look at that transition A setting up on the weekly chart. Love it. I actually trailed out of half. I had slightly more than half. I had 250 units of Ether, and now I have that's Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I have 2 units. One, and those are my stops. So 48.99 and 51.72.99. Those are my stops. I have two coins, and then Ether I have, I think, 115. What 57.5 times 2 is 115. And those are my stops at the moment, 155.99 and 163.99. So that's what I have. Litecoin, I'm all out. So I like Ether as a long-term the long-term chart more than any other cryptocurrency at the moment. But you kind of have to be in it already. So if you're not in it already, it's kind of tough to be getting in here. Let's take a look at the daily chart real quick, see if there's another entry. Okay, I mean, it had a buy setup a couple days ago that triggered. So now you could do the entry here over today's high with a stop under the 20 MA right here. That's not bad. And then just ride it higher if it goes higher. Same with Bitcoin, I think, looks maybe similar. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. So this is Ether. Ether is, I think, the second largest cryptocurrency. Bitcoin, also a little late, but narrow range bars, it hasn't gone anywhere. So if you triggered in it on the buy setup here, then it hasn't, or here, this was the real trigger with a stop right here. Hasn't really gone up that much, maybe $200. You'd be late a couple $100, but still looks higher to at least 6,000, maybe even $7,000 on Bitcoin. I like Ether more. We'll see. And if I can just add a little more, because I'd like to add more to Ether, that would be really good. All right. So I think that's about it. From the setups that I shared with you, I called 2, I think. Yeah, 2, only 2 for the Strategic Swing Trader members. If you're interested, be sure to check out the links in the description of this video. There is a link for the Strategic Swing Trader newsletter. There's a link for the Strategic Day Trader trading room, where you can trade with me for just $49 for the next 30 days. So it's an incredible offer right now, and it's during the earnings season, the most active period of each quarter. And there's also a link if you want to trade with me in person in Chicago. There's only 2 spots left, or at least as of last week, there were only 2 spots left. I don't know if there are any really spots left yet, but I do a mentorship every 6 months or so, where I trade with 10 to 15 students in person live for a whole week, and the next mentorship is going to be in Chicago the first week of June. So check out the links if you're interested, and if you found benefit in today's video, be sure to hit the like button. I hope you enjoyed it, found benefit in it, and I shall talk to you next time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Talk to you guys next time. Take care.